got this thing in my head where I don't know where I got it from, some book I read maybe, but it said if 10 consecutive or 11 consecutive people like your product, a million will like it if they saw it.
Welcome back to It Starts Now, the happy hour of finance and business. My name is Stanley. I got a special treat today. We're going to discuss so many topics when it comes to gears, heads, head helmets, bike life,
Yeah,
motorcycle, the whole culture. And also I got my boy here, Harain, Mr. Smitty, a.k.a. The Voice, a.k.a. OSG, member of OSG that's helping us out to have a discussion with my boy Kimichi about his whole life journey and building up to his brand, how he got focused, locked in, and he's creating something that's amazing for the community. And it's been blowing up for quite some time now. So please welcome my guy Kimichi.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me here. Yeah, I'm excited to get into, what I call the bike life culture. So, I'm ready for your questions or however you want to roll into it.
Absolutely. So before we begin, I want to reintroduce my guy, Smitty. Smitty, let them know a little something about you.
Smitty, also known as Lansky to the crew.
Yeah, very short and quick.
Say less.
Okay.
Say less.
So, Kimichi, tell me, how did this idea come about that you started and you said, I want to go ahead and pursue this whole helmet thing? What made you want to create a custom line helmet?
I ain't set out to do a helmet line. I set out to do a dope helmet for myself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it just, it came out fire, and I was like, I'm gonna make a couple more, and it just caught a cult following, kind of like that. But the initial idea was actually out of kind of like desperation, like not having no, option. That I didn't have no 9-to-5 aspirations. I was a 3-time felon. I had just came home, so it was like, for me, it was kind of like I got to do something. Before this, I was like trying to learn how to vinyl wrap cars and customize vehicles and bikes. But there's a big learning curve to do that. Is like a lot of things. But it didn't. Like I said, the helmets came like I was just trying to create. I was inspired by Don C, this designer from Chicago, who make these hats. And in 2013, I'm fresh home from jail, and I'm just like, yo, what are these hats everybody wear? I want one of those. And then I seen the price tag was like $600-$700 for one. And I'm like, shit, like the things change. You know what I'm saying? But I like the style, you know what I'm saying? The snake skin on the brim, it was just different. And it was it inspired me. I'm like, man, a helmet would look fire like that. And nobody was doing that at the time. So, I started to, I would say I'm a late bloomer. I got creative with my hands later in life. So like 29 years old, I was going to the city, to the garment district, just shopping around different stores and stuff, getting different materials, tinkering with it. And then a friend of mine who was into designing sneakers, he's been designing sneakers since like back when 50 first came out. Remember when people was wearing the Timbs with the Gucci on it back in the day?
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he started back then, and I asked him, like, you know how to deal with fabric and cutting that leather, snakeskin and stuff like that. Like, help me make this helmet. And he helped me, and that shit really just, like I said, that shit just took off. Fast forward like 7 years later, I created my own competition. Like I said, there was nobody doing this before me. But after I, came out with BeSpoke Bikelife helmets, I would say it took about 5-6 years before you started seeing, lookalikes. And at first I was, I would get agitated, like, the fuck, they biting my shit, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I could curse. I'm good.
It's too late now.
Oh yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, but I was like, I would be tight. I would be like, confrontational sometimes. Like, I started just but you can't
come in and take my stuff.
You can't have creative rights to something that's just putting material on helmets and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I created a wave, and now it's like 2-3 other brands doing what I do. They're not on my level, but I have to accept that and expect that. Like, when you original, you know what I'm saying?
Competition is healthy though.
Yeah, it's healthy, and thankfully, like, the bike culture is like, so let's just say if this was a fashion culture, like Don C, for example, it didn't take no time for companies to start doing snakeskin brim hats and selling them for a fraction of the price he was selling them for. You feel me? Like, that's just what happens. When Kanye said, yo, let's put leather on sweat. So, matter of fact, I don't even think Kanye was the one who came up with it. But when the people who, the N Noir camp that came up with the idea of leather joggers, like making that a thing in 2013, that shit took off, and then a bunch of other brands did it after that. And it's just a natural, way it goes. Like, ain't nothing new under the sun. I had to respect it and accept it, and get out of my feelings and just get in my bag. You know what I'm saying? But I set myself apart from every brand from the very beginning, because I expected that day to come. When I first started this and decided, like, this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm gonna put my all into this. All the money I made, all my friends would tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, if I come up on $20,000, I'm dumping $20,000 into BeSpoke Bikelife. I would be walking a fashion district and just buying fabric for $1,300 worth of fucking fabric that I'm not even, like, using. And it's like, like I was telling one of my partners, like, everybody is creatives is not always like the businessman. You know what I'm saying? They're not.
That's true.
They're not always like in the same space of running the financial or the execution of
it's not that they can't
project.
do it.
Not that they can't do it. It's just that they be consumed. You know what I'm saying? And me being, from what I come from in the past, like, I was in the streets making money, like, at a young age, doing stuff that dudes your age was doing, and I think to come home and kind of start from scratch in a space of, like, a struggling artist, that shit was just, like, real humbling for me. Like, it was a reality check that none of your street accolades matter here. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's just, you.
So, just a question. Earlier you mentioned bike life, and you said it again later on. So, for those who don't know, what is bike life? What is that about?
So if you ask, that's a good question too. It's just like asking somebody what is a gangster to you, and everybody got their. You ask Styles, he got a definition. You ask this dude, he got a different definition, because should be perception and perspective. But for me, bike life is almost exactly how it sounds. For me, it's like everything encompassing the bike life culture, anything on a bike. So that's from BMX bikes all the way up to Harley Davidsons. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to make, like, I named my brand BeSpoke Bikelife. I didn't want to just name it something helmets, because I knew it was a bigger picture. So I don't know who created the term bike life. I don't know who coined it, but the audience is humongous. You know what I'm saying? When you go on social media and you type in a hashtag and you see the size of the audience,
Right.
you know, you look at the metrics, like the culture of bikes is humongous, from mountain bike rider, BMX racers, BMX freestyle riders,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Motocross racers, you know, the whole Travis Pastrana and people like of that category and things. It just goes, it's just like any culture, you know what I'm saying? So many subcultures to it.
Can I ask you this? Were you in the bike life prior to going to jail, or is it something that you came out and fell in love with?
I was definitely in it, like before it was coined, bike life. You know what I'm saying? Kids in the streets on dirt bikes. You know what I'm saying? I was just I'm a product of Rough Riders. You know, 1999 DMX.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm influenced by that era.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when I was a kid, when I was born, my uncle had a RM85 in the garage.
Right.
So it was always a dirt bike around me in my life. You know what I'm saying? I've been riding since I was probably like 13, 12, something like that. But there was no culture before when I was into it. You know what I'm saying? It was just me, my man DJ Remarkable who had a bike, my man Brett, and it was just, that was it. It was just us. So it was just kids on bikes. It wasn't like no real culture. It wasn't no getting together on Sundays and going riding different cities, and you know, it wasn't no Instagram, of course. It wasn't. So it was really just kids just being outside having fun for the most part.
Right.
Like I said, we was influenced by Rough Riders for the, you know, most of us, and then I grew out of it. You know, I got into the streets. Like, you know, I tell my kids, my oldest son specifically, he's 14. I tell him, like, you know, I was influenced by DMX and the Rough Riders with this bike stuff and dog stuff. Like, I really got into it, right? And then as I got older, once I hit 15, I would say that's when I started to understand the street stuff he was talking about. And then I got into that, and that shit consumed me. And I got out of, once my bike broke, my dad wasn't around to be like, I'll take it to the shop and get it fixed. That shit just sat in the back. And I just ran the streets with my friends who wasn't on bikes. Because it was only 3 of us that had bikes. You feel me? So the rest of the, you know, we were the minority. You feel me? So everybody else is on foot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And gang banging and shit. So, you know, I left the bike alone and just got into the streets and took the same path.
Yeah.
You know, most kids taking the inner city.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about it? You got locked up and did some time, and you came out. During that time, did you like what made that paradigm shift for you to say, I'm gonna go into something else? I can't continue this lifestyle anymore. I have to find something else. What gave you that drive and motivation?
I mean, off top, I guess you could say, you know, probably was thinking about my kids. Maybe. I don't like this. I'm not gonna say and be like, oh, it's my kids. You know, I had to do it for them. That's like, I'm not gonna sit here and, you know, because I had kids before I went to jail. I was doing crime, you know, with my kid. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so I want to say it was like tired of the same pattern. Like, it wasn't like I was going to jail and doing 10 years and then coming home and doing 8 years. I was going to jail for a year, come home for a summer, go back, do a year and a half, come home for another 7 months. And then, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was just the business getting long. Then the last, you know, 4 years, and it was like, during that time, I was facing way more time. So it was like, I was making a lot of money at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So I had bigger aspirations.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Because you know, I feel like your aspirations go as far as your brain could tangibly think it can reach.
Right.
So if you only making $500 a week, you're not going to be thinking of big dreamy stuff.
Right,
like
right.
your mind ain't gonna really, you thinking of
Because
survival.
it doesn't have that exposure.
Right.
Right.
You in survival mode. So I wasn't in survival mode. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of them dudes who got a hood story like I come from, no back to the wall, shit was out of I needed to. My mom's was fucked up, daddy was gone. Like I'm from Jamaica, Queens. Like, my mom's was from Harlem. She lived the struggle life with 5 siblings in an apartment in Harlem. Not me. Feel me? I grew up in a house in a nice neighborhood. We made it bad. Like my you know how I go.
That's interesting because like you think that you're out of the environment because you know how they say the environment plays a part in you becoming the product of your environment, right? But you were in a better environment and still found yourself active in the streets.
Wherever hip hop went, the culture of crime went. Like, and for black kids in the inner cities, as far as that goes. So for me, it was like you could have put a kid anywhere. Once he get attached to hip hop, he's gonna seek that lifestyle out. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't far removed from crime. Like my daddy was a drug dealer. His brother was a drug dealer.
So it's in the genes.
Yeah, like that. Like I don't.
So you
come
saw
from,
it. That's basically.
I saw, and they was like real steppers. So it's like, I got a name. Like again, I'm not one of them dudes who just gonna say like, oh, I come up in the streets, thugging and bugging. Like, my family name was already set in stone. Right. So it was like, I didn't have to go through a lot of shit a lot of dudes go through, like as far as paying dues. I had a lot of fights and shit here, as a kid, little shit that. But like once I started getting into gangs and shit, it wasn't no more fighting. We was just jumping niggas. So it was like at the end of the day, I didn't have to pay a lot of dues. I feel like I got fast tracked through the streets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and it allowed me to be more like creative though, like because from a young kid, like not to glorify this at all, but I was one of the only dudes in my neighborhood selling heroin. And in Jamaica, Queens, it's like only like in the South Side that was a thing. Like, this is a mostly crack area. Like all of the dudes that we come up under is cocaine dealers. All Jamaica, Queens dudes. You got some dope dudes there, here and there, but I come from up under like bricklayers, like cocaine and shit like that. So I was the dude who came home from jail and was like, I'm gonna do something different. I was always a creative dude in that sense, like in hindsight. Back then I didn't know I was creative. I didn't know. I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. But again, I brought that up to say that I got fast tracked through the streets. That shit wasn't really, I was into bikes and BMX before the dirt bikes. So I was like really like an outside kid just trying to enjoy fun. And then, when the influence came, that's when shit like, got different.
But you made this turn, and now do you have the same grind mindset? Like from then? Okay.
Nope. I won't even say I do. Sometimes I think I do. But again, I don't think that just because you made a lot of money in the streets and was a hustler, you're fiscally responsible. Or you might be an entrepreneur, but that don't mean you could be a successful one. You know what I'm saying? I was selling cocaine and weed. So it's like, you could just have bricks and they're gonna go. You don't have to seek them out to, find a bunch of, you don't have to have salesmanship skills to sell a brick.
Because they need it. It's a
you
demand.
Just got to know a few dudes,
right,
and then let them know what you got, and they'll get rid of it for you.
Right.
So it doesn't like hone your salesmanship skills, like it being on a block. You know what I'm saying? I'm not from the era of standing on a corner with the big bubble coats all day and night. Even though we did, this, but we at the end. I was on the tail end of that era.
Right.
We from the cell phone era. Sit in your car, wait for your phone to ring.
Right.
Feel what I'm saying? Pull up and bust your lick. But a lot of the things that I from my generation didn't really hone the skills that most people think that being a drug dealer give you. So I don't think I'm like no apex trap nigga. You know what I'm saying? But I was a creative thinking dude. I was one of the first dudes from my generation age bracket in 2008 going to California and buying drugs and mailing them back. Like that wasn't the thing for dudes my age back then. I was 22 years old.
Yeah, but you had the family ties that probably
Right. Nah, I ain't get no plugs from my uncles or nothing like that. No family ties. I did everything on my own. Like I seeked out all my relationships on my own. That was just, that was just a bonus, like, what I was tied to. But I honestly, like my dad and my uncle and them, they ain't never like assist me in the streets. You know what I'm saying? My dad got caught up with the drugs though, like after a while. So his story ended bad. So it kind of always told me, like, I had always had it in the back of my mind. Like my uncle ended up doing a bunch of fed time, and my dad ended up hooked on drugs. And that was from since I was a boy. Like, so he was off and on lit. So I watched the up and down roller coaster of being a drug dealer, like from a young age.
from the highs to the lows.
From the highs to the lows, yeah. So for me, it was just, I'm doing what my friends is doing and I'm trying to be the best at it. It wasn't, I was just trying to win Trapper of the Year 4 times in a row. Like it wasn't nothing like, no real push for me to, I didn't have to do it. I had all the opportunity to do everything else. Every neighborhood got a dude like me who had the opportunity to do a bunch of shit and chose the streets. You know what I'm saying? If I told my moms I want to play tennis, she'd have got me a tennis coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I would have told my moms I want to do, she bought me a $3,500 four-wheeler when I graduated junior high. So no, when I graduated junior high. So you got to think of the psyche of how how black women be supportive especially when they got it. Yep. So like my mom was a CO since I was a little boy, since 1996. So she always made a decent amount of money. So she supported me to do everything I wanted to do, and I chose to do the dumb shit that I did because of my influences. So
right.
Yeah, so I don't think nothing I was doing in the streets helped me be except reading people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Except reading people. Like, I learned how to read a room and read people and things like that. And, going to jail. And
you start to see certain patterns within behaviors.
Right. I know behaviors. I know my red flags will go up in certain situations that the average person wouldn't. So I could say that the streets gave me some type of extra prowess, if you will. Like, but mostly, everything that I learned was after I came home and just in my mom's basement, tinkering with shit, watching YouTube. When I came home, YouTube University was a thing. People was learning mad shit on YouTube. So it's like, for me, I got this internet right here in my pocket. I got this YouTube shit, and everything I want to learn is right there. Let me just learn how to. So I learned how to do as much as I could, like, in the automotive world. Because, most people, kids that grow up into bikes is going to be into cars and stuff too. So like, I'm into anything motorsports. So I got into this shit and just figured that I would like basically craft my way into another idea and then another idea. And that's what really happened. You know what I'm saying? The helmets was the start, and then a bunch of other situations, within the spectrum of the bike life culture.
Right.
Opened up for me. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Yeah.
Listen, go ahead.
So before you said that, some of the innovative and creative things that you did when you were hustling, you didn't get any assistance from the family. Was that intentional? And if so, how did that transition into, once you came back and you realized you need to do something different? Like, what were the skill sets you took from what you was doing before that led to you doing what you're doing now?
That's a good question. I'm curious.
I would say the skill sets. The first part of the question is I would have took their help if I got it from them. Okay. It wasn't like I had
ego stuff.
Nah, they just wasn't, offering it to me. But if you, Dad, can I get work cheaper, please? Like, I would, like, I would have asked for, I would have took that. Like, I get it from my pops, like, whatever. Yeah. But nah, it was just out of, and my moms wouldn't approve of him. Any one of my dad's friends that would have assisted me in the streets, my moms would have went crazy on them. Because, we in Laurelton, it's kind of a tight-knit community for the most part, especially if you was in the streets. Everybody kind of knew each other in that generation. So nah, I didn't do it on no, ego trip or nothing. I just had to because it was no assistance. And plus, I got into gangs, you know what I'm saying? And when you in a generation that got into the gang banging in New York, I turned blood, and it was like, I would say all of the drug dealers kind of like didn't want to. They kind of, if you didn't turn blood, they would like show you more love. Show love, yeah. Right. Like, I got a pass again because of my family, but for the most part, once you turn blood, it was like, y'all on y'all own. Y'all get your own shit. We'll sell y'all shit. Like, you don't get the same, because they was kind of anti-blood. You know what I'm saying? All of that generation. Like, I would say 50 Cent age bracket and up. That generation was like anti-gang. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But, and the skill set, the best skill set that I think I got is, I would say learning how to seek out the right people in a situation. Like, I had an uncanny ability to meet the plug. Like, it was strange. Like, my boy Ox pointed this out to me. He was like, yo, I don't know what it is, but everybody like that you run into always want to point you in the right direction to the right person. Like, it's always, I mean, like I said, I was 21, 22 years old, right? With real plugs, like real Mexican cartel type plugs that dudes today would pay money to get next to. Like, I had this situated when I was a young nigga. So I would say I don't know. I don't have that ability in my conscious mind. It's in my subconscious mind. So it's not something that I can
aware of.
Yeah, I'm not even aware of how I use the ability.
Yeah. It's just like communicating with someone, right? Some people are just like, damn, everybody just get along well with this person. They got good, but they can't point out why.
What it is about them. Right. Yeah. I'm like that.
Yeah. So subconsciously, if you're not aware of it, it's there until something triggers it out.
Right.
And then you find yourself doing it, but you're doing it automatically. It's not like something like you're conscious of.
Exactly.
So I get it.
I was never conscious of it. And it even played in, like I said, it always, not just in the street realm, but like, in business, it's like I always meet I go right around the middle guy and just get straight to the big guy. Not in no like aggressive businessman way or nothing like that, just some natural way. I end up cool
vibing
with
the guy, them,
like that I need to be cool with, or the girl that I need to be cool with. Right. You know what I'm saying? Not all of the middle minutia and all that. You know what I mean? So I basically just I'm one of them type of flow guys. I don't force shit. I like what's liking me. You know what I'm saying? I don't force nothing. Yeah. Like, what's for me is for me, and like shit is always gonna fall in line.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's a positive like mindset to have. Yeah, I like that quote. I like what's liking me. Talk about the helmets, man. Let's get into the helmets. Right? So, walk us through start to finish creating your helmet.
So the helmets is something that I started, like I said, with my hands, going to the garment district, buying different fabrics. Once I learned how to do it myself, and there was no like, that's the one thing that wasn't on YouTube. Yeah, how to do this. Like, I had to just keep trying different methods, going through different materials and what works and what doesn't work, because everything don't fit around the helmet. The helmet is
so purchase a blank helmet. Okay.
A blank helmet is my canvas.
All right.
And I just with a blade and glue, I just make it do what it do. Hey, that's it.
Put a blade in the glue.
Blade and glue. Sometimes I use the sewing machine if necessary, and but yeah, that's it, and that's what it started out as.
Yeah.
So the first helmet that you designed, is that the one that kind of started bringing attention, or the first one was?
Nah, I would say the second one. So the first one that was made got the attention in the streets with me actually wearing it. I went and bought a dirt bike to match the helmet and everything. I bought a red Aprilia RSV 450. I hated that fucking bike, but anyway, it was a move to kind of like make it look good. We in New York, so it's like this is the place where you got to make it look like something. Yeah. So,
how did you know it was going to become something? Like, well, first of all, how did you brand it? And then how did you know it was going to become something?
Well, I knew it was going to become something once I got the approval. Like, so I got this thing in my head where I don't know where I got it from. Some book I read maybe, but it said if 10 consecutive or 11 consecutive people like your product, 1 million will like it if they saw it. So
that's another quote. I'm gonna take that too.
11 people I had showed this product. I think it was 11 or 10, whatever this damn quote, pushed me to do. So I went. I got the approval from my friends. It went way past that. Like I got no like, nah, bro. I would do something else, bro. Like let's stick with the cause. Like I didn't get that. Like I literally just got you onto something. Not just like, this is fire. Anyway, how about them Knicks? Right. I got like, not only is this fire, but like, this is crazy. Like you did something. Like I always got that in the very, very, very beginning.
Okay.
So you know how that go. Once you get that type of feedback in anything you do, it don't care if you come out with your own alcohol or anything or clothes. Like if a bunch of people's like, this tastes amazing, start a food truck. This tastes amazing, start a food truck. Like you gonna do it.
Yeah.
So after that I was like, this is it then. This is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm shifting all my focus to this. And my mother, she's supportive as hell. She let me turn the garage into like my little shop. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
She let me grow my business up and word. And I'll tell you, a lot of people helped me along the way that in so many different ways. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not one of those I'm not one of them businessmen that I did all of the things right because I followed this, Grant Cardone wave. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this. I've really been winging it. You know what I'm saying? Just doing what I do. That's honesty. Yeah. So I've been watching the culture as it grow. Everybody that buy a helmet from me, I follow them. Like, so almost all my followers are customers or friends or people that are designers that I like to see on my timeline. I don't follow no baddies or none of that nut shit. Like I just try to keep it like every time I'm on my feet, I'm looking at my market, like because these are all the people that are like I like to see what they into. You know what I'm saying? So
that's how you do product research. By watching them.
I watch it. Like I'm friends with a lot of my customers. Like and I mean like. I have a real relationship with a few of my customers. Like some customers you meet through different channels. So some of them through email, they might deal with my lady. So some of them might go through my DM, they gonna deal with me or my brother who handles that. So it's like depending on what channel you go through depends on if you get to me or not. You know what I'm saying? Right. And some of these people I meet, they always start with the like, I just love what you're doing, man. You're doing something so major. And, they let it be known like, what you doing. Because I did some other major things in bike life. Like I attempted to create, not attempted, but I started to create this battle competition. I rented out a racetrack in upstate New York, Lebanon Valley Raceway. In 2015, and put this competition together, which turned into, that's a whole nother conversation we'll get to. But so everything that I was learning to do was pretty much everything that I was doing was pretty much motivated from all of the support I was getting from my customers. So like I would meet a lot of, good people that would help me along the way, and they all know who they are. I don't gotta like, I don't gotta shout everybody out. Like I genuinely am one of them dudes who are I'm most of my success is responsible, I have to say, is from like support from everybody around me. Like it's not just my drive. It's not, I literally got a lot of love. I'm not, you'll never see me posting about like, you don't get no support. Like I get crazy support. You'd be surprised. Like they, and it's just, I feel like it's me just putting out the right energy, Like since I decided to make that, because it wasn't just like an overnight thing, leaving the streets alone when I came home and started this, like I'm not on my second year. I've been doing this for 6 years now, you know what I'm saying? Since 2014. So like 15, 14, something like around there. So it's like, for me, it's like, you got to really think about it. Like I passed a lot of phases of
that roller coaster, that emotional
roller coaster in business, most businesses, but mine's is a lot longer. Like I'm supposed to be way up here, like compared to a lot of what a lot of people think. You know what I'm saying? Like I have the early parts of my business I was caught up in a lot of street shit, so it hindered me.
So that leads me to a question I was about to ask. So now you got 6-7 years in the game doing this. To date, what's been the most difficult thing you had to deal with in terms of from when you started to staying on track and scaling up, if that's,
Most difficult thing? Man. I really can't pinpoint what was the most difficult obstacle, because once you get over it, it's like it
a next obstacle.
It shrinks like so it looks smaller than what it is when you was facing it. You know what I'm saying? So some of the biggest obstacles I had was the first thing was bike life is not so bike life again is multiple cultures. Now the dirt bike street culture, that's the core. That's my core market, because I'm one of them. I'm the dudes that like to willy in the streets and run from police. Like I'm from that cloth. You know what I'm saying? I love all of the bikes, cafe races, Harleys, sport bikes. I like it all. Right. But that's my core. Yeah. So the dirt bike street culture, when I came home, I started BeSpoke like a year and change later. So a lot of people didn't know me. I wasn't, I was older than a lot of the people that was, involved in it. And a lot of people didn't know me. I kind of created it and just kind of like came on the scene. And my marketing strategy was literally like, I'm a reach out to dudes that I think is lit, you know what I'm saying? And do shit with them. Like, that's it. So I reached out to...
it's crazy. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I reached out to Leaky the Bike Star. And that was the first person I reached out to. And he's from Queens. He's one of the best dirt bike riders in the world. So it's like, I'm like, that's the best play for me right there. Get a helmet on him and he can help me build my brand. And he's from Queens. You know what I'm saying? Then I reached out to Hollywood Stunts. He's one of the dopest dudes out of New York, for real. He rides motorcycles. Right, mostly, but he rides everything. But he was mostly on the motorcycles, so like I looked at that as that. I want to bless him with a helmet because he could represent for the motorcycle riders. Right, Leaky is a dirt bike rider, and so on and so forth. So I seeked out the people that I thought was influential back in 2014, like all of the dudes that I thought I sent helmets to dudes that I thought was dope. Like I'm a fan of you. I just want to put one of these lids on you. You know, you keep your $250. Like, this is just, and I don't even ask for a repost or nothing. Like, this is just me being genuine. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, because that's what these fashion brands will do. They'll come out with some shit t-shirts they selling for $300. They gonna send them to the fly niggas first.
Right.
So it's like you gotta pay homage to the people that's really influential in your sector. So
big.
I did that. I got I would say I got a good first round. My first year or two, you know, I did all of the things that I thought I was supposed to do. I did a lot of things I think I wasn't supposed to do, but you know, that's learning on the, you know, the learning curve.
Right. What I was gonna say earlier, not to cut you off, it's just that it sounds to me you still got the same mindset. Like, let me go to the big dogs. Like from earlier when you said, listen, I always had that mindset to go right to the plug.
Right.
So it's the same mindset. Like, I'm gonna go right to the plug. If this guy's lit right now, he's the plug. Right.
And it happens organically. It's funny you mention that, right? It's not always just getting to you know, like I said, a legal plug. It's just the right person, you know, the connection.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in 2000 and I want to say 17, I get a phone call from somebody or a DM, and he was like, I can't remember the kid's name, but he was basically just inviting me to, there's this event that we do every year. When I say we, I say the bike life culture. MLK weekend in Miami. It's like everybody go down there. You probably seen it on the news or something. But he invited me. He's like, yo, my sponsor wants to invite you down to Miami with us, and he really likes your helmets. He thinks what you're doing is dope. I'm like, oh, word, good. He at the time he was dealing with a energy drink company that was pretty big and growing, and I knew of him in that aspect. I didn't know this person, you know, in no other right, but I was appreciating the invite.
Right.
So I didn't go down there with them, but I went to his mansion he had in Miami.
Right.
And he was just like, yo, man, I love what you're doing. You can hang your banner up. He let me hang my banner up over the pool, like like it was my crib. Like he was like, mi casa su casa type shit. And I'm just like, yo, man, that's dope. Good looking. I appreciate it. Like he was just a real cool dude, because he had a bunch of us bike life dudes, and this dude is older than us. He's like in his mid 40s.
Okay.
So
he's just a person that loves the culture.
No. So he's a person that's a part of the bike life culture as far as motocross is concerned.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, at the time he owned a motocross track in California, two of them. So he was already, you know, familiar with the bike sports side of it, of the bike. So, but he just loved extreme sports. He was an ex-skateboarder, you know what I'm saying, ex-snowboarder.
Right.
So this is like extreme sports is right up his alley.
Right.
So right. And he didn't grow up with no silver spoon. So it's like he's comfortable in the trenches. So it's like he's coming around and to these events. These events is hood dudes. Like for the most part, it's a lot of hood dudes, and we get chased by police. Keep this in mind. These events usually end with, in Miami, MLK weekend every year, from like, I know it was a few years of people dying, like crashing and dying on the highway. Like it just get wild. Like police chases get crazy. Dudes get locked up, end up doing time down there. So it's a gauntlet. Like, and this dude is, like I said, he owns tracks. Like this dude is worth a lot of money, and you out here mixing it up with us. You know, in these raggedy ass streets with these police. Kind of crazy for that. And then
like the tracks, like you said before.
Yeah. So now, we met on the strength of the helmets. You know, the helmets got, you know, me noticed by him. And again, it was just a straight up invite. Like, y'all like what you're doing, come through. He invited a lot of people there. But we ended up getting cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ended up really like getting close. And once I told him about my event I had did, Bike Battle League, that I had did prior, I had did it 2 years ago prior to that, meeting him. And he was like, wow, that's a dope idea. Like, you know, he had already understood the sporting side of dirt bike racing. So it's not hard to understand what this type of tournament could bring about. You know what I'm saying? It's not rocket science.
Right.
So he got on board, like, you know, right then and there, like, you know, we started building a relationship and collaborating. We did some jerseys together. We did and then we started work. We was planning on doing it at Madison Square Garden. We was about to go, you know, scope out the grounds and see if we could create a course that was big enough to support this event we was trying to do. And then he had a death. His son died. His son was murdered. So that parked him for a little minute, and I wasn't pressing it, you know.
Yeah.
So after that, he came back and was he was really enthused to, you know, get back into the movie business. After his son passed, and, you know, I had told him I used to write stuff in jail. Like, you know, a lot of dudes in jail start writing books. That's one of the first things we do in jail. It's I'm gonna write a book. Yeah, I ain't got shit to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I wrote a book in jail, and I did though. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah, you should write the movie for me. And I was like, yeah, I never wrote a movie, but he was like, yeah, here, learn how to write one. So over the next few months, I started reading like how to write screenplays. Yeah. And dude really paid me to write this script. Like gave me going rate and everything. I ain't never wrote nothing, published shit, and he gave me the going rate, paid me to do that, then produced it. You know what I'm saying? With $100,000 or something budget, like, and he hired all of the Bikelife dudes, like a young dudes that never dealt with no movie shit in their life, a real set. You know what I'm saying? With real cameras, you know what I'm saying?
Up,
like, he really did that, you know what I'm saying? A Bikelife story, watch it on Amazon.
I'm gonna watch that now.
Yeah, it's funny, man, like how things happen. So yeah, so this dude, after that, we just continued our relationship and working with each other in different ways, and then he decided to he sold one of his tracks, and he bought another property. And I was talking to him about Bike Battle League and things, and we were discussing how many, you know, different ways we could execute this. And we tried it again within the span of from 2017 to like 2019. We tried it again, and then it was like some other people involved that had different ideas that wanted to do the different things. It just didn't work out, and everything fell apart again. And then now his new I'm going to California in a couple of days to do a ribbon cutting at the new track. And the new track is going to have a street course. And the street course is going to support the bike life culture for these kids that's riding these streets on the dirt bikes. Yeah. Like, we want to create not just a place for them to just come and ride freely, which they will be able to do that, but we also trying to create basically the sanction and body for who's the nicest. Like, we, you know, everybody could willy, but who can really put their skills to the test in a specific, you know, obstacle course type situation. So we definitely
that's so dope that you're looking for a sanctioned body, because the same thing with boxing, WBO, all of that.
Exactly, you get it.
You know,
you get it.
You know,
you get it. That, and he's already dealt with this business in the motocross side. He's already been sponsored by big companies, big energy drink companies, big motorcycle brands. You know what I'm saying? So some of the best people in the sport, millionaire riders, racers, race on his properties. So it's like, he's in the culture. So that's, again, circling back to me always meeting the people that I need to meet. Like my man is in the feds telling me right now, look, Meech, you did it again. That's what he said, like, not too long ago, like a year ago. He's like, look, because I told him, like, yo, about this dude I met. I'm like, yeah, we real cool. Like, when I go to California, I go stay at his house. You know what I'm saying? And we work on scripts, we work on reality shows, we work on movies. We're working on another movie right now, and then we working on the opening of his track. We about to put the shovel in the ground. The permits just got signed. So we finally about to build the track that's going to create the sport. So
cheers to that, man.
Salute, man. Salute. Salute. Salute, fellas.
Thank you. But again, and it's not, it's not like for me it's not for money or nothing. Like I don't do things like, oh, this is gonna make me the bag. Even though the bigger picture is a big bag.
Yeah.
The along the way part is like I'm creating a lane where, let's say my man Lorenzo want to be the graphic designer for the course or something like that, or somebody needs to be a flagger at the track. Somebody needs to be
you providing opportunities.
This is creating so much job opportunity in the culture that we love.
Yeah.
Right.
This is your hobby. You get to, you know what I'm saying? So for the most part, I feel like I'm on the right track. You know what I'm saying? My relationship with my man Jimmy, his brand is Free to Peeps. And his brand is just representing like people that's caught up in this prison in their mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not just like people think Free to Peeps is the brand is just about like, yo, free your homies in jail, which, you know, freedom too. But it's also about freeing your mind from them chains that, you know, society put on it. And he's like, I call him a philanthropist. That's what I call him. If you look up the definition of a philanthropist, he fit it. Like, you know, and he's enhanced my brand. You know, he's helped me learn a lot about the motorsports business, and I'm excited about the future of this sport because in this culture, because it's a multi-billion-dollar culture. The helmet business alone. So when I got into the helmets, I looked it up, and some of the top 5 helmet businesses, I'm not gonna say their names, but they grossing, you know, is like 100-something million. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them is like 400 million. Like they're doing like sneaker company numbers.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
That's
This
crazy.
is because helmets are worldwide. They're sold everywhere. And outside of America, motorcycles be like the #1 motor transport.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a patent right now for a full face motorcycle helmet. I can't talk too much detail about because I'm in the patent prosecution part.
It's still pending.
Right. It's not even, I won't even say it's starting to pen yet. But So, but this is going to revolutionize the helmet game as we know it. Like, it's going to go from motorcycle helmets on down to the helmets you buy your kids for their first bike. This helmet patent I'm working on is gonna be I guess that's my out game to because the
big bag.
Yeah, that's the big that's the big bag that's gonna create. I don't know exactly what I'll do with it, but it was one of them things where, you know, I'll explain it to y'all when the camera's
Yeah.
But it's one of them things where like I know that the interest is going to create an opportunity for me to have to make a hard decision to either sell it or keep it and maintain it. And that's the hard part I'm kind of on the fence about because it's like, as a dude who's been running a business for, you know, 6+ years, you know, I've been knocked around. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, everybody got scar tissues when you start a business. Yeah, you're gonna get knocked down a few times.
I feel like me not having a team, like I'm not that I didn't have support, like I told you.
Yeah.
But it's not like having a team.
People did in key roles doing the things that you need.
Yeah, like people will help me.
Why is that though?
I got a theory that I think it is, you know, like people that help you financially, like, yo, what you need help with. Like I have friends that give me $100 just to go get you some material. Here, Meech, go get, that's what I got for you. And that helps. But really you need like the effort, hand time, like, you know, and when your friends is, you know, all having, you know, different things going on in their life, and it's like you can't offer them. They don't see the same tangible dream you see.
No, they never do.
They never do,
Yeah,
and everybody, like I told my friend the other day, I said, if Jay-Z was born in 85 like me, and he was trying to start a Rockefeller Records today in this generation, it would probably not happen, because Dame Dash would be doing Dame Dash Productions, this, that, and the third, and Rockefeller. Biggs would be doing all of these other businesses and Rockefeller. They were 100% Rockefeller at that time, because everybody didn't want to have that be the chief.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people played their roles back then. You know what I'm saying? In this day and age, everybody kind of want to be a chief in their own way. Right. So it's real hard to like. A lot of my friends is alpha males, so it's like it's not easy to get a alpha males to be like, you know, they working for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when it's like not enough money. Like, if you got big amounts of money to offer,
it's different. Yeah,
that's different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But you
run into the problem of what's the incentive why they're doing it? Is it money, or is it, you know?
That's true too. And the thing is about, and we talked about this before, like a lot of times, you know, we want to get paid for what we're doing, right? But you have to see the value in the company. If you see the value and you see that the company can scale to, you know, some serious heights, you want to calculate it. Do I want a piece of the company, like in some equity shares, or do I just want to get paid? Yeah, you could get paid right now, but then ultimately you remain at a paying stage. You could always get somebody else to employ for that position once you scale, right? Because once you got money, you can always be like, you know what, I can't replace this person. But if a person has equity and they believe in the dream, and you give them a piece of the pie, they're like, hold up, I'm gonna push this because I believe in it and I have some type of ownership. So it's how you present it at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, you're right. Like, maybe I should have been offering ownership and shit back then.
You don't got to give a lot, but go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, my thing is, you always want to build and grow with your people.
Right.
Right? But at some point, I always say you have to move on, and then they'll catch up.
Yeah.
Moving on doesn't mean I'm not messing with you no more. It just means I got to keep going. And then when you're ready, my hand is always there to pull you up.
Right.
Now, he's right, because here's the thing. The vision is yours.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't see it yet.
Right.
Now you build traction. They slowly start to see the vision.
Yeah.
And then they be like, they slowly see the vision and they're like, okay, all right, I see where you're going.
Right.
Sorry, hold that thought. Can we bring it back a bit? Cause what just happened?
Oh, because no one is moving. The lights automatically
It's censored.
cut off.
So when you're at, you're gonna see that
You're gonna see
light
so
effect. So let's
you'll
just
have
bring
to
it
see
back a
that
bit.
again.
Yeah. So basically,
15 seconds.
yeah, I'm just gonna reiterate. The vision is yours, right? And they won't see it. It's not until you build some type of traction and they start to see it, because it wasn't meant for them.
Right.
It was your vision. It was meant for you. Now you start to mold that vision. It's like clay, right? You start to mold it, and then slowly they start to see how that clay's come together into a personality and a character. Then they go, oh, I see it now.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm at that stage now where, you know, they all see it, and they see the moves, they see the opportunity in the bigger picture, which is a bigger bag.
Yeah.
I think a few of them, if they smart, they do. If they don't, I mean, I'm not tripping. You know, but I've always been the type of dude that once I got the opportunity to make money, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Some people say it's a bad thing, but I've always been a dude to be like, man, I got to bring my friends into this. Like,
I'm guilty of that.
I'm like, yo, I don't know what it is.
It's not a bad thing. It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what it is. It's like I always want to, like, since the streets.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I've always done that and got shown I shouldn't do that. Friends outside of my neighborhood would be like, yo, you're doing too much. Like, you know, you don't have to do it. Like, you don't have to do that. And I always, like, And right now, like even with this, like, you know, I would like the idea of my friends getting some of the future bag with me, that I know I'm gonna get. But if they got to get there, you know, we meet at the top and clink glasses, and that's all good.
That's it. It's all
And
good.
that just is what it is. But I just always like the idea of breaking bread with my peoples. I don't go with the man. Oh, you can't make money with your friends and family. Yes, you can.
You can.
My cousin
you can.
is my manager.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was actually on recently I had someone on the show and we were talking about it. He said, you know, I wanna hang out with the people I played in the dirt with. Like I wanna come up with them. I wanna be able to talk about, man, we went from eating Chinese wings to now we like some, you know, busting down some steak.
Filling fancy restaurant. Yeah.
So you want that because you want to say, the question is it because we're doing it out of comfort? Right? Are we comfortable with our peers, with our friends, so that we know, like, we feel safe? Right. It's like a wolf, right? Exactly. Wolves won't move in a pack.
Right. Exactly.
It's like we going to eat, but let's do it in a pack. Right. Exactly. So is it the fact that, you know, we feel comfortable because we like moving in a pack?
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, again, that's part of my, like, my street conditioning, you know, always wanting to, you know, be with the guys, always wanting to be with the homies. It's not always that too.
It's also like, loyalty.
Yeah, it's a loyalty to a code, though, I feel, because it's like, you know, a lot of dudes that's not in my, like, I got friends that's not in the streets, right? That when they come into some situation, they're not calling nobody. They don't think they just go in and get the money and that's just be it. You know, you'll find out like, damn, bro, I didn't know you was doing mortgages and doing this or whatever it may be. He might just be like, oh yeah, I've been doing that for 2 years. I didn't know you know, that's what I'm doing. So it's like, you'd be like, oh, okay, this is how they do it in the, you know, like, for lack of better words, the square realm. Like, this is how they do it. Like, man, maybe I should have been doing it like that. But that's just my soul, man. I just like to spread the, you know,
the love.
Yeah, I like to spread the love.
Somebody told me,
you know what I'm saying? Before I get situated, I'm situating other people. I'm just one of them people. But you know,
but
now,
it comes back though.
Yeah, it comes back, and I think it came. I think it always showed itself. Like I said, you know how many brands don't make it to the point I made it to. You know what I'm saying? I've never done no official campaigns. I've probably done 2 Instagram ads in the 6 years I've been active. I've never done no Black Friday. Maybe I did one sale before, like I can't remember why, but I just never got into none of that because I'm blessed to have a brand that has a cult following.
And it goes back to bike life.
Yeah.
Right. So same thing as hip hop. Hip hop is not just music. Hip hop is an entire culture.
Exactly.
Right.
So bike life is a culture.
Right.
And it's attached to hip hop. Right. Bike life and hip hop is like this.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing like you said, anything automotive related.
Right.
If you're a sports car, if you're luxury cars, if you're any type of means to travel and be fly with your people, that's the culture. That's what hip hop, that's bike life. That's
hip hop.
It all intertwines.
Right.
Yeah. So extreme sports and all of this, hip hop, all of this is intertwined, and I'm just from the era of people who watched sports be created right before my eyes. I watched BMX growth right before my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I watched, I'm from that era where X Games was a small little thing, and then it grew to be, that shit is like the Olympics for extreme sports, right?
It is.
And going back to my boy Jimmy, he's an ex-skateboarder, and he's in his 40s, so he comes from the era of when skateboarders, I'll give you an example of how the skateboard culture and its progression is so similar to how this bike life culture is about to progress. So in the skateboard culture years ago, let's just say in like the late 80s, early 90s, right? they would be skating in empty swimming pools. They would be skating in building plazas, getting chased out by security, getting police called on them, shit like that, right? So they would be having fun, you know, but that wasn't that was just a hobby. That's not a culture that can grow into nothing. Just skating in building plazas, right? Even if you have a contest in a building plaza, that shit belongs to Wachovia Bank. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then somebody said in the 90s, I'm gonna buy a fucking property and I'm gonna create ramps and I'm gonna just let them kids come and skate there. And then another person did it. And then another person did it. And then somebody bought a warehouse and put it inside. So you could do it year round.
Yeah.
Then it went worldwide. And I don't know where it started at, right? But so then out of nowhere, somebody then said, we need to have competitions now. Let's
Make
have
it
a
competitive,
competition,
right.
make it competitive. And then somebody created an event. You understand what I'm saying? And then it grew and it took Tony, the dope Tony that do the 720s from around the corner into Tony Hawk that we know today. Right? And you needed the platform to create the Tony Hawk.
Crazy.
You couldn't create Tony Hawk in the neighborhood just wilding out in your people's swimming pools. He would have just been known locally. You needed a platform to create a Tony Hawk.
And they did.
So now you got people today renting out racetracks and allowing like Bikelife Sports, right? That's a brand that's from a bike life dude that rode dirt bikes in the streets, ran from police, you know, and this dude started renting out tracks just to let people ride and wheelie, right? I rented the track out in 2015 so I could give dudes opportunity to compete at a high level, like, and I was doing it as a demo.
Gotcha.
To do what we plan on doing when I go cut this ribbon at this track in a few weeks, in a week. So now, circling back to the culture in itself being like skateboarding, we've reached that time where somebody is building that indoor or that skate park so that you don't have to get chased out the plaza and get your board snapped in half. You could come to this plaza right here. So now this track that we open up is going again not only be a place for people to ride and without getting chased and learn how to really,
so it's like a safe haven.
Right. Aside from it being a safe haven, quarterly we will be having an event there, and it's going to be a festival grounds because he's building the stage and everything on this. It's 78 acres.
Right.
So it's an immense sized property. So it's going to have entertainment acts in the middle of this competition and all of that. We really plan on.
So basically, you guys are just laying the foundation for the generations to come.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So my son, who's 14, and my other son, who's 11, by the time they 20 and 25, and there will be literally a sport now where if you're nice enough, you could just do that.
Right.
And just make money doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what kids doing motocross right now. You get nice enough, like this kid named Joshua Varese, right? He was trained by my boy Jimmy, who owns these tracks, right? So he was trained since he was I want to say 6, 7 years old. He's 19 now, right? His dad met them at a track, just randomly met them at a race. You know, at the races, how it goes, like you'll bring your kid that races or your kids and your RV and your bikes in the back, and you'll sit there for a few days and, race or for a day or whatever. And he trained this kid from 6 to 18, and now this kid is slated to be one of the best. You know what I'm saying? At 18, 19 years old, he's already getting, big situations that's he's staring down a barrel of an excellent race career. So now this is the part of the business that I want to learn to be able to apply to my side of the culture. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, this has been great.
Man, this is dope.
You shared a few gems in here, man, that I really like took the heat.
Yeah, he's literally creating, when you think about what you're doing now, what you're about to do, you think about esports gaming, this is something that's, people are getting college scholarships for.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
And we dropping the game too.
So
Yeah,
exactly.
we dropping
So
the game
what you're
too.
doing is you're creating a platform for generations to come, but you're also creating another avenue, and you're narrowing the opportunity gap.
Yeah.
For that culture.
Yeah. Giving them an opportunity.
You know who's in that culture.
Yeah, because to close out, I want people to know that this culture is, although it's rooted in the streets, is rooted in the inner cities and the ghettos. We way bigger than that. We influence kids in suburbia. We influence kids in Japan. We influence kids in Australia. I sell helmets all over the world. I've sent the helmet to almost every continent. So we need to understand that in order for us to have that same effect that the skateboard culture had, and that's a multi-billion-dollar culture, right? In order for us to have that effect, we have to realize that we have to learn the business side of it first. We can't just think that we just gonna jump
but
in.
You're still creating that though.
Yeah.
You're still creating that, and then I think along the way when they start to materialize into more of like a global thing, I think that's when it's really going to be keen. So you're laying, like you said, you're laying down the pillars right now, the steps and the foundation. But I think when it really materialize into something that's globally all across the world, is really the time to say, I need to know my business. Because you don't want somebody else outside of the culture to come in and take over.
Right.
And that happens a lot when we create something and then people from outside the culture come in and dominate it because they know the business aspect. They see the value in it. And we undervalue a lot of stuff. Well,
that's funny you said that. I say this all the time. There's people in this culture that have done exactly what you said. Because they know the business side of the culture, they come in, they usurp the all of the goods from it. They get whatever benefits they can. Like if you type in bikelife.com right now, it doesn't go to anything, a bike life site. The person who site it goes to, who I'm not even going to say, I'm going to just let you go ahead and that person he has people that send Bike Life attached to his brand, but that's not a Bike Life brand. Wow. He just was the person who was thinking business and smart enough to grab that domain and funnel it to his site. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he has the best interest for the culture. He just picking the good.
And he's probably just waiting it out too, because
I mean,
these domain now, they go for like huge money.
I got domains worth thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? I got domains that I just, from businesses that I didn't even move forward with, that ended up being worth money. You know what I'm saying? But he just knew the business side. He saw the culture growing. He grabbed it. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And that's, whether or not you could say that's nasty business practices or nothing.
You can't be mad at him for doing it.
You can't.
We just didn't think of it first.
We didn't think of it first. My only negative thing I'll have to say about the move is that when you have the ability to help a growing culture like that, right?
You should,
especially if you're attached to it. So when you see a culture that's, I can see if your brand is like, you don't have money or nothing like that. But if you got a brand, like a brand, you got some shit like that, then, and you like deal with certain people in the culture, you shouldn't just have that site funneled to your site. You should have it funneled to something that's more conducive to growth.
That's going to have more of an impact.
Exactly. So, or help the culture in whatever way, you know what I'm saying? In whatever way you deem your way, do it. But it's not always just picking at one person and then saying, oh, I help this person or something. Because some people do things like that. Like, oh, I help this guy. You know what I'm saying? It's like a politician having a black person in their cabinet or some shit that they say, oh, I got my token black person. So
token black, token brown.
So I feel like, when you got the power to help a culture that's going through the turmoil we going through, y'all see de Blasio crushing bikes. with bulldozers.
Yeah.
When you got the mayor that's taking time out of his day and the taxpayers' money to crush bikes worth thousands of dollars, you could have auctioned them shits off and donated that money to some of all of these other situations you claim to care about that's underfunded, right? You spent that money on crushing the bikes for showmanship, right? So with things like that happening in the culture, with all of these kids looking for outlets and different ways that we could turn this into that moment that the skateboarders have, when you don't take your, the effort to, do nothing. That's my only.
Yeah, his base isn't our base.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Let's end it with that, because you're right. If you're a part of the culture, you should be helping the culture, and that's with anything across the board.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're a part of the culture, help the culture. And especially if you own the domain.
And that's so one thing I always do when I'm talking to people that they're looking to start their own brand with, I'll say, make sure the domain is available and lock that in.
The domain, get everything.
Get everything.
Get the domain, get the LLC, get the ESCO,
get a trademark, all that stuff. Pay for it, because then you don't have to pay for it a lot more later on.
Yes.
Yeah, and we don't want that.
Before we wrap, just take a few seconds, tell the people where they can find you, where they can find, if they want to get a custom helmet from you.
Well, simple, BeSpoke Bikelife.com. King of Crowns. I'm Meech. You could DM us, email us is better, way better than DM. Dopest helmets in the game. If you don't know, email us info@BeSpokeBikelife.com. But check me out on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook like that. I could only focus on one platform at a time. I ain't know. But check me out on Instagram. I got some fire stuff up there, man. I've been out here for a long time. When you see them other helmets without that star on it, it's not me. Follow us there. BeSpoke Bikelife.
That's what's up, man. You want to end it off?
I just want to say a quick shout out to Stan. It starts now, the entire crew behind it. Shout out to Meech, Kimichi. Shout out to my OSG family.
Let me shout out my manager, Sean for Life. He made a lot of plays for me. My boy Jimmy. All of my supporters. Y'all know who y'all are, man. But I had to shout out my core. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Salute to the core.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Peace.